Okay. List of cold opens, ranking them, talking about the best. Just think of something brilliant. You can do this. Just, is that already rolling? Yes, folks, it is time for a Doctor Who ranking, a list, and this one voted on by the members of my Patreon page. Because yes, at any support level, even $1 a month, you do get to vote on topics. You also get to see the docket a month in advance, and there's other perks as well. My author diaries are going up on the Patreon page as I work towards publishing my novel. That turned into a longer plug than I had intended it to. Anyways, the cold open. What is the cold open? The cold open is whatever goes on in an episode prior to the credits starting to roll. It is what hooks you into the specific episode. Traditionally, the cold open would be to basically say to people, hey, here's what's going on before the credits go, so that you get them to sit and watch through the whole thing. They're not necessarily as necessary as they once were, back when people were, actually had to watch live TV. They couldn't get it on DVR, watch it later, stream it, binge it, whatever. But it's still kind of a nice tradition to have. So cold opens are strictly things of the modern era of Doctor Who. Closest thing that Classic Who ever did to cold opens was to sometimes do little recappy bits before the credits started, and I'm not even sure they did that. I might be imagining and in my head messing that around. I'm pretty sure they just always started with the credits. So this list is going to be exclusively new Who entries. So that means Series 1 all the way up through Series 11 is up for consideration. And this list was difficult. More difficult, in fact, than I thought it was going to be. But I've narrowed it down. I've got my list. Now, please keep in mind, I'm only judging the cold opens, not how they resolve after the credits, not how the episode overall was, only the cold open. So in some cases, there are good cold opens to episodes that are not especially good otherwise. Please keep that in mind. So, let us start with number 10, The Doctor's Wife. Little bit of mystery here, which I think is always a good thing for a cold open to have. You want to sort of set up, ooh, don't you want to know a little bit more about this? And this has that, but I think for me, the big hook in the cold open is the Doctor getting that box. I've got mail! His excitement is a big part of what sells this. Oftentimes, the cold open will be used to instill a sense of mystery, fear, danger. But to go with the Doctor's sense of joy and excitement in that moment, that's a nice change of pace for a cold open, and I really like it as a starter. Number 9, Utopia. This one I kind of wanted to put higher, but some of the stuff that's intercut with it brings it back down a little bit, because it does have like the little glimpses of the future kind, which, that they're there, they're fine. But what gets it on the list in the first place is the reintroduction of Captain Jack Harkness into the story, because we haven't seen him since the finale of Series 1, and now he's back, running, Doctor! Clinging to the side of the TARDIS through the time vortex as it thunders to the end of time, trying to get away from him, as he's just clinging onto the side of it, calling for the Doctor. It's great to have him back. It shows his desperation at finding the Doctor again, which is great to put in there for folks who hadn't been keeping up with Torchwood, to get a sense that, oh, wow, like, things can't be great with him if he's that desperate. So it's a great bringing him back. It's a great setup for that he's not in a good place. It just works. Number 8, Heaven Sent. This one, like I said, a lot of them tend to have a sense of mystery. This one absolutely has that. You get little glimpses, little images, bits of voiceover, and a lot of it's disconnected. You're not sure where it's going. Now, that in and of itself does not necessarily make a great cold open. That's actually kind of an easy go-to. Here's some stuff that we'll explain later, that will make sense later. And that actually usually doesn't do it for me. But knowing that we're coming off the back of Face the Raven, so the Doctor is in an angry place, and he steps out of that teleport thing, and he steps forward speaking to, he doesn't even know. He doesn't know who did this to him. He doesn't know how he got here. But he says, I will find you, and I will never, ever stop. Not only do you believe him in that moment, but it is actually kind of foreshadowing for how the episode is going to turn out overall. It's a nice, strong beginning. And having him that certain of himself at the front end also feeds into where the whole thing goes. And I like it a lot. Number 7, The Stolen Earth. This one almost feels like cheating because this is one of the longer cold opens. It goes on for a while. Most cold opens, 2.5 minutes. This one's more like 5. But we've got the Doctor showing up with Donna like they expect everything to be a mess. Oh, it seems to be all right. They get back in the TARDIS, then the Earth's gone. And we get to see all the characters that we know and love from all over the planet. They're all like, oh boy, this is crazy. So we get a wonderful spread and introduction to all the guest stars who are going to be in this, ending with Rose. Oh, now we're in trouble. It's just a terrific build and a culmination, and really sets the stage for this being a coming together of everything that the show has had up to that point. Number 6. This one becomes relevant because, as I said, some of these episodes are not great episodes, but 42. This one's just really efficient at laying out the entire premise of the episode, because cold opens don't usually do that. Generally speaking, the cold open just sets a mood, maybe a tone, maybe gives you an instance of a bit of danger, but they usually leave a lot of questions. This doesn't. Cold open for 42 sets up exactly what's going on. I mean, and there's more to find out because with the monster and everything else, but the sense of immediate danger, we're on a ship, it's going to crash into the sun in 42 minutes, all gets established in the cold open. It's quick, it's efficient, it gives us everything we need so that once we come out of the opening credits, we can hit the ground running. The episode doesn't actually run very well, it stumbles, but not for lack of a strong open. Number 5, Silence in the Library. This one actually pulls a little bit of a fast one because technically it does something that I usually dislike. I do not like a cold open that takes place within the body of the story we're actually going to tell, that they just detach and stick on the front end. It's a basically in media res teaser, and then when the story starts proper, we start before that thing happened. That's why the Girl in the Fireplace cold open is on here, which isn't a bad cold open, but I dislike the fact that it's a segment pulled out from the middle of the story. And this does technically do that, but it gets away with it, for me at least, because of the sneaky way it does it. Because this opens with the little girl talking to her doctor, Dr. Moon, closing her mind and imagining her library that nobody's supposed to be in, but somebody's in. It's just this little girl in an ordinary house imagining a library, and then the Doctor and Donna show up in the library that she's imagining. Wait, what? It's just a wonderfully bizarre way to kick it off. And the reason I'm forgiving of the fact, because technically what we see here with the Doctor and Donna sort of, they go up to camera, it's like, oh, do you mind if we stop here a bit? And we see that later on when they do that to, like, basically a camera droid. But the thing is, we are getting it here from a perspective of what we will later find out is the computer, completely from how she perceives it. And then later, we get it from the perception of Donna and the Doctor as they step in and see it, and it just, boom, just shuts down. And I think that little twisting of the perspective on that moment allows this to get away with it, whereas normally I would have held that against it. Maybe I'm also just forgiving because I love the heck out of the story, but I think it works. Number 4, Amy's Choice. This is another long one because it is setting up a pretty complicated premise because it has to establish both of the realities that the characters are going to be flitting back and forth between. And one of them is not an obvious one because like the one of them in the TARDIS in an imminent danger, that just has to set up the danger. But this other one in Upper Ledworth, 5 years later, Amy pregnant, that takes a little more setting up. So it takes the time to do that. And to have a nice, calm interaction between the Doctor and Amy and Rory. But then to cut back to the TARDIS and be like, oh, whoa, that was weird. I wonder what's going on there. Then back to Upper Ledworth again. And the Doctor's saying, trust nothing. Whatever is going on, don't trust anything. And he just sort of takes a step forward. This is going to be a tricky one. I just like the way it balances it. I like the way that it introduces both the reality. I like that we get the sense of the flitting back and forth, the sense that we get how disorienting this is for them, and we get that this is going to be a head. I can't say the word that I want to. It's going to be a bit of a mind-messing sort of episode. And I think this cold open sets that up really well. After a nice sort of gentle intro, it does the little twist, and we get a sense of what's coming. Number 3, the God Complex. When it comes to mysterious, atmospheric, moody, unsettling, and basically seeing a victim of the monster of the episode, which, again, that in and of itself, kind of a typical cold open. But this one, oh man, it leaves you with so many questions, and they're all the best questions. What is going on? What is she afraid of? What's tracking her? Why is she praising it? Why is she letting it come to her? And all of these questions will get answered as the episode goes forward. But it sets up the hotel hallways, which are not dark and dingy or gloomy. It's brightly lit. It's well maintained, but it's still off-putting. This seems wrong. And that slightly off sense is there right in the cold open. The whole mood is captured right there. The sense of the fact that these characters are going to unravel over the course of the story, that's there as well. It does a great job of setting up what is a very weird and oftentimes unsettling episode with a wonderfully weird and unsettling cold open. Number 2, The Magician's Apprentice. This very nearly came in at number 1, and about the only reason it didn't is because some of the visuals in the very front part of it with like the hand mines is a little weird in a way that doesn't quite work for me. It feels like it's weird just for weird's sake. But when the Doctor shows up with the TARDIS offering a hand to this boy and doing what the Doctor does, trying to be reassuring, trying to give the boy strength, a bit of a pep talk. Like, come on, tell me the name of the boy who's not going to die today. The boy says his name is Davros. And then that unbroken, no-cut push-in with the camera as the Doctor's face just falls. That... Oh, whatever you think about this episode, about this series, that opening, not only to this episode, but to Series 9, wow. I think that is an astounding episode, and it just lets Capaldi's performance, no dialogue, for like the real core of this which is just his face, just lets it say everything. It is so good. Doesn't take my number 1 spot, though. That is going to go to an episode that I used to think much more highly of than I do now. I have a lot of issues with now. But I could rewatch the cold open all day long. My pick for number one, listen. The monologue from the 12th Doctor, from Capaldi's Doctor, about hiding. And what I love about it is, it seems like he's just basically running through a thought experiment out loud in the TARDIS. Because he's alone. He's bored. What else is he going to do? Which, for me, fits into the sort of the headcanon that I have about what the Doctor does when the companion isn't around. Like, in my headcanon, I tend to picture him just sitting back, tweaking with the sonic screwdriver, just adding new settings. That's why it can do as much as it can. He's bored and he tinkers with it. But this fits into that as well. He's bored. He's got nothing to do. Companion's not there. Okay, so what can I just sort of do to occupy my brain? Oh, what about something that hid so well that we literally never knew it existed and it was always there for our whole lives? And then for it to end with him going, what would you do? What would you do? And he turns back to the chalkboard and it just says, listen. Wonderfully creepy. And a great capper to a monologue that honestly I like in and of itself. Beyond the way that it sets up the episode, beyond the way that the capper at the end of this cold open is just wonderfully creepy. I just enjoy this monologue. I mean, Capaldi monologues really well. He's really good at it. He can command the screen talking to nobody. And he does that here. And I am enraptured. And like I said, I take issue with a fair amount of stuff that goes on with this episode at this point. But that cold open, I think, is pretty much flawless. So that's my pick for the 10 best cold opens of Doctor Who. What do you think about my list? What ones do you think I missed? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something on down in the comments. Let's talk about it. I mentioned the Patreon again. I'll mention it one more time. Link down below. But if you are unable to help me in that manner, also hitting the like button. That helps me. Subscription. That helps. You can keep tabs on other stuff I'm putting out. Leave a comment, as I said. That helps as well. And I appreciate all of it. Plus, there's other links down there as well. Links to my other social media, other creative projects, etc., etc., etc. Click on them. They'll take you places. Or don't. I'm not going to tell you what to do, because at the end of the day, you're the council. I'm just running the meetings, and until next time, this council is adjourned.